Subscribe if you're done being a loser. Let's go.
Because I tend to think that it makes me feel not positive. And I understand that, but I've always been of the opinion that you shouldn't live in a world of delusion where you're just seeking to be positive, have sort of positive things said and avoid uncomfortable conversations. Actually, progress often in my life comes from like having uncomfortable conversations, becoming aware about something, and then at least being informed about how I can do something about it. And so I think that's why I asked the question, because I assume most people should, if they're normal human beings, listen to these conversations and go, gosh, that's scary, and this is concerning. And then I keep coming back to this point, which is like, what do I do with that energy?
Yeah, but I'm trying to point out this is not different than so many conversations. We can talk about, there is starvation in this region, genocide in this region, you're all dying, cancer is spreading, autism is up. You can always find something to be very depressed about and nothing you can do about it. And we're very good at concentrating on what we can change, what we are good at, and basically not trying to embrace the whole world as a local environment. So historically, you grew up with a tribe, you had a dozen people around you. If something happened to one of them, it was very rare. It was an accident. Now, if I go on the internet, somebody gets killed everywhere all the time. Somehow, thousands of people are reported to me every day. I don't even have time to notice. It's just too much. So I have to put filters in place. And I think this topic is what people are very good at filtering as like, this was this entertaining talk I went to, kind of like a show, and the moment I exit, it ends. So usually I would go give a keynote at a conference, and I tell them, basically, you're gonna die, you have 2 years left, any questions? And people be like, will I lose my job? How do I lubricate my sex robot? Like all sorts of nonsense, clearly not understanding what I'm trying to say there. And those are good questions, interesting questions, but not fully embracing the result. They're still in their bubble of local versus global.
And the people that disagree with you the most as it relates to AI safety, what is it that they say? What are their counter-arguments typically?
So many don't engage at all. They have no background knowledge in a subject. They never read a single book, single paper, not just by me, by anyone. They may be even working in a field, so they are doing some machine learning work for some company, maximizing ad clicks. And to them, those systems are very narrow. And then they hear that, this AI is going to take over the world. They're like, it has no hands. How would it do that? It's nonsense. This guy is crazy. He has a beard. Why would I listen to him, right? Then they start reading a little bit. They go, okay, so maybe AI can be dangerous. Yeah, I see that, but we always solved problems in the past. We're going to solve them again. I mean, at some point we fixed a computer virus or something, so it's the same. And basically, the more exposure they have, the less likely they are to keep that position. I know many people who went from super careless developer to safety researcher. I don't know anyone who went from I worry about AI safety to like there is nothing to worry about.
What are your closing statements?
Let's make sure there is not a closing statement we need to give for humanity. Let's make sure we stay in charge, in control. Let's make sure we only build things which are beneficial to us. Let's make sure people who are making those decisions are remotely qualified to do it. They are good not just at science, engineering, and business, but also have moral and ethical standards. And if you're doing something which impacts other people, you should ask their permission before you do that.
If there was one button in front of you and it would shut down every AI company in the world right now, permanently, with the inability for anybody to start a new one, would you press the button?
Are we losing narrow AI or just super intelligent AGI part?
Losing all of AI.
That's a hard question because AI is extremely important. It controls stock market, power plants, it controls hospitals. It would be a devastating accident. Millions of people would lose their lives.
Okay, we can keep narrow AI.
Oh, yeah. That's what we want. We want narrow AI to do all this for us, but not God we don't control doing things to us.
So you would stop it, you would stop AGI and superintelligence?
We have AGI. What we have today is great for almost everything. We can make secretaries out of it. 99% of economic potential of current technology has not been deployed. We make AI so quickly, it doesn't have time to propagate through the industry, through technology. Something like half of all jobs are considered BS jobs. They don't need to be done, bullshit jobs. So those can be not even automated, they can be just gone. But I'm saying we can replace 60% of jobs today with existing models. We're not done that. So if the goal is to grow economy, to develop, we can do it for decades without having to create super intelligence as soon as possible.
Do you think globally, especially in the Western world, unemployment's only going to go up from here? Do you think relatively this is the low of unemployment?
I mean, it fluctuates a lot with other factors. There are wars, there's economic cycles, but overall, the more jobs you automate and the higher is the intellectual necessity to start a job, the fewer people qualify.
So if we plotted it on a graph over the next 20 years, you're assuming unemployment's gradually going to go up over that time?
I think so. Fewer and fewer people would be able to contribute. Already, we kind of understand it because we created minimum wage. We understood some people don't contribute enough economic value to get paid anything, really. So we had to force employers to pay them more than they're worth. And we haven't updated it. It's what, $7.25 federally in US? If you keep up with the economy, it should be like $25 an hour now, which means all these people making less are not contributing enough economic output to justify what they're getting paid.
We have a closing tradition on this podcast where the last guest leaves a question for the next guest, not knowing who they're leaving it for. And the question left for you is, what are the most important characteristics for a friend, colleague, or mate?
Those are very different types of people. But for all of them, loyalty is number one.
And what does loyalty mean to you?
Not betraying you, not screwing you, not cheating on you.
Despite the temptation.
Despite the world being as it is, situation, environment.
Dr. Roman, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing what you do, because you're starting a conversation and pushing forward a conversation and doing research that is incredibly important. And you're doing it in the face of a lot of skeptics, I'd say. There's a lot of people that have a lot of incentives to discredit what you're saying and what you do because they have their own incentives and they have billions of dollars on the line and they have their jobs on the line potentially as well. So it's really important that there are people out there that are willing to, I guess, stick their head above the parapet and come on shows like this and go on big platforms and talk about the unexplainable, unpredictable, uncontrollable future that we're heading towards. So thank you for doing that. This book, which I think everybody should check out if they want a continuation of this conversation, I think it was published in 2024, gives a holistic view on many of the things we've talked about today, preventing AI failures and much, much more. And I'm going to link it below for anybody that wants to read it. If people want to learn more from you, if they want to go further into your work, what's the best thing for them to do? Where do they go?
They can follow me on Facebook, follow me on X, just don't follow me home. Very important.
Follow you. Okay, so I'll put your Twitter, your X account as well below so people can follow you there. And yeah, thank you so much for doing what you do. It's remarkably eye-opening and it's given me so much food for thought. And it's actually convinced me more that we are living in a simulation. But it's also made me think quite differently of religion, I have to say. Because you're right, all the religions, when you get away from the sort of the local traditions, they do all point at the same thing. And actually, if they are all pointing at the same thing, then maybe the fundamental truths that exist across them should be something I pay more attention to. Things like loving thy neighbor, things like the fact that we are all one, that there's a divine creator. And maybe also, they all seem to have consequence beyond this life. So maybe I should be thinking more about how I behave in this life and where I might end up thereafter. Roman, thank you.
Amen.
The insight means nothing without the output. Inspiration fades, but discipline stays. What are you going to execute today? If you're committed to breaking free from your limitations, tap the subscribe button right here. Don't let your momentum stop now. Click on the video on your screen right here to lock in your next level of focus. No excuses. See you there.